Okay, so today we're diving into the world of 3D rendering,
That's good.
and we're going to be looking at some of the top companies in the industry.
Okay.
And for this, we've got a list of the top 10 3D rendering companies from the website, the top tens.
Great.
And looking at the list, it's pretty interesting. Like right off the bat, you see how global this industry is.
Yeah.
And some of these companies have been around for a while, like close to 20 years,
Hmm.
which is pretty wild when you think about how much technology has changed.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, should we just jump right in?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so one of the first companies that caught my eye was Real Space 3D,
Hmm.
and they describe themselves as doing like just about everything in between, which is kind of a vague but intriguing claim.
Yeah, it's a bit broad, but I think it speaks to how versatile 3D rendering is as a field. Like you could
Okay.
be working on architectural visualization one day and then product design or even like virtual reality experiences the next.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's really quite a broad field.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and then another one that I thought was interesting is Brook Visual. They
Yeah.
specialize in what they call unbuilt architecture.
I was wondering about that. What exactly does that mean?
So essentially, they use 3D rendering to create visualizations of buildings that haven't been constructed yet.
So, like, you could see what a building would look like before it's even built.
Exactly. You can walk through it, experience the space, see how the light falls, and all that.
So it's like giving a voice to these architectural designs that are just on paper.
Precisely. And it's incredibly valuable for architects and clients because it allows them to get a much better understanding of the project before any physical construction begins.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's got to be way easier to make changes in the virtual world than once you've got, like, concrete and steel.
Absolutely. It can save a lot of time and money down the line.
That's really cool. And another company that's interesting is Easy Render, but they're a little different from the others, right?
Yeah, they're not a studio in the traditional sense. They're more of a marketplace platform.
Right. So how does that work?
Basically, it connects clients who need 3D rendering services with freelance artists.
Kind of like a I don't know, like an Uber for 3D rendering.
Exactly. You could think of it that way. It's a really interesting model because it allows clients to access a global pool of talent and potentially find more affordable options.
Oh, that's cool. And speaking of global, it's pretty amazing to see how many different countries are represented on this list.
Yeah, it really highlights the global nature of this industry. You've got companies from Korea, the UK, the US, all over the place.
So is there like a reason why certain regions might be more dominant in 3D rendering?
Well, I think it's more about specialization than dominance. Different regions might have certain strengths or expertise. For example, you might find a lot of studios in one country focusing on architectural visualization, while another region might excel in character animation for video games or something like that.
Oh, I see.
And this specialization often leads to collaborations on large-scale international projects.
It's pretty wild to think about all these different teams working together across borders.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a testament to how connected the world has become.
Totally. And another thing that stood out to me was how long some of these companies have been around. Like you mentioned, Render's been in the game for like 17 years.
Yeah, and Ingram Studio actually has roots going back to the 90s.
Wow. So what was the 3D rendering landscape like back then?
Well, the technology was a lot less sophisticated.
Yeah.
Render times were super slow and the level of realism you could achieve was limited. But those early studios were real pioneers.
Yeah.
They were pushing the boundaries of what was possible and paving the way for the incredible advancements we see today.
So they really had to evolve and adapt as the technology changed.
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the reasons they're still top players today. They haven't just embraced new technologies, but they've also built up this incredible expertise and reputation over decades.
Right. So it's not just about technical skills, it's
Mm.
about vision and experience.
Mhm. Precisely. And as rendering technology continues to evolve, we can only imagine the amazing applications that will emerge in the future. Like imagine virtual surgery simulations or movie special effects that are completely indistinguishable from reality.
Yeah. I mean, it's already hard to tell what's real and what's rendered sometimes.
Right. It's mind-blowing to think about where this technology might go next.
Well, I gotta say, this has been a really fascinating deep dive into the world of 3D rendering. It's such a dynamic and global industry, and it's clear that these companies are filled with talented artists and innovators who are shaping the way we see the world.
I agree. It's been great discussion.
So, for all of you listening out there, I definitely encourage you to check out some of these companies and maybe even delve deeper into the world of 3D rendering. It's really amazing stuff. And Who knows, maybe you'll be inspired to create something incredible yourself.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, it's really exciting to think about the future of this field and
Yeah.
all the possibilities that lie ahead.
Excellent.
Well, that's all the time we have for today, but thanks for tuning in to our deep dive, and we'll catch you next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
So with the advancements in 3D rendering, are we reaching a point where the lines between reality and simulation become too blurred? How do we ensure we can still distinguish between the real and the virtual? It's a question worth pondering.
Definitely.
Okay,
That's a wrap.
awesome job.